I'd like to thank everybody for coming today. For those of you that I haven't met, my name is Jim Baird, and I have the pleasure of being the Chief of Police here in the city of Ann Arbor. And I've worked with Tom for 24 years now. And so the format for today, I'm going to say a few things, and then I'll kind of open up the floor for anybody else. There's a couple presentations that I'm aware of that people would like to make. And then we'll give Tom the final word. And then we'll go be a little more informal after that. People can just kind of visit. We see a lot of retirees here that came in today. We're going to have a lot of retirements coming up here, so we're going to have to see these people flock in a lot, probably. So anyway, but I'm going to say a few things about Tom. 15 years ago, we had almost 200 police officers in the city of Ann Arbor. We're currently at a sworn strength of 122, although when Tom leaves, I think it takes us down to 117. We have our overall strength, sworn and non-sworn, is down 100 people from where it was 15 years ago. This reduction, it wasn't unique to Ann Arbor. It occurred all across Michigan and in fact, all across the country. Now, community policing, it means different things to different people. Generally speaking, though, community policing requires relationships. Relationships between the police and community members and even community organizations. Ideally, the foundation of these relationships is not enforcement-based. It occurs in a non-enforcement capacity. And what we call community policing today, we just called policing years ago. An officer knew all the players on their beat. They knew the citizens, they knew the business owners, they knew the criminals, and all those people knew the officers as well. Then as police officers changed from being beat cops to being placed in patrol cars, the way that we interacted with the community changed as well. We became more reactive. In the 70s, when the 911 system became prevalent throughout the country, we became even more reactive. As radios were put in the hands of the officers and in the patrol cars, the citizens had the ability to communicate directly with the police. And our response time, calls for service, it dropped dramatically. It really was a much more efficient way to respond to emergencies. The citizen was able to immediately report an incident, the dispatcher was able to communicate immediately with the officer, and the officer could respond quickly because they're now in a patrol car. It really was a better and more efficient way to handle priority calls, emergency situations, and even criminal reports. However, it was at a cost. Because what happened was we no longer had that relationship that we had with the community years before. The officer wasn't walking through the neighborhoods like we did before. In the late 80s and early 90s, we started to recognize that that was a problem. And that's actually when Tom began his career in law enforcement, as did a lot of people in this room. During a time when we figured out that although we were better at responding to problems, we weren't doing as good a job as we could at anticipating, even preventing them. This birthed the next wave of community policing. We also called it problem-oriented policing, but we tried to get that relationship back with the community. The way that, without though giving up the significant progress we had made in responding to the emergencies. So Ann Arbor, like many places, tried doing it by throwing bodies at the problem. And so what we did is, in Ann Arbor, we increased the size of our department by quite a bit. We had 12 officers that were assigned to walk certain beats in the downtown or in some of our more crime-ridden neighborhoods in the city. We had 3 high school liaison officers at our 3 traditional high schools in the city. We had 4 district coordinators, and each one had a civilian staff member assigned to it. Tom's done a few of these jobs. We also had DARE officers teaching elementary school kids how to resist drugs. We had a GRATE, which was an equivalent for gang resistance. We also had, because in police work we try to make sure that everybody is properly supervised, we had a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a deputy chief that supervised our community engagement efforts. So that, if I added up the numbers, that's 30 staff members that were dedicated to community outreach and engagement. Then as our numbers dropped, all of those positions were gone, all 30 of them. We really had no choice. The core services that the police department provided had to continue. We had to continue to have a road patrol response, a detective bureau, and a traffic unit. And that's how we operated for years. Our former chief, Cito, knew two things. He actually knew more than two things. But he knew two things. One was that we had to find a way to re-engage with the community. And the other thing he knew was that he wasn't going to have 30 staff members to do it. So he created a community engagement unit. Unit is probably not the best term because it was Tom. Tom was the community engagement unit for a year before we added 2 staff members to help expand the reach of the unit. But just like that, one person took on the role of 30 people that 30 people had previously. The good news is that Tom was made for that job. He really was. When I'll just give a brief. When the other chief, James White, was selected to be the police chief here, before he declined the job, we had a lot of communication. And he asked me, he says, well, what do you have as far as a community engagement unit? And I told him, I said, well, I gave him kind of the numbers, and he says, because he's been in police work, he knows that it's not fully embraced by everybody. And he says, well, is this somebody that, is there because they're kind of got signed, a low man on the totem pole, or is this somebody? And I said, no, you don't need to worry. He was born for this job. He really was. I don't think there's any denying that. Tom has the ability to make anybody he's talking to feel like they are the only person on the face of the earth. He's built personal relationship with so many people, more than we'll ever know. He has a true passion for children and youth. He's spent a lot of time targeting, a lot of his efforts have been targeted towards building a positive relationship with those groups. And nothing is more crucial in law enforcement right now than this relationship. Tom has worked with students in schools. He's worked with students that are kids that are incarcerated. He has worked downtown on the streets of Ann Arbor in the graffiti removal program as well. The police community relationship across the country is under an incredible amount of stress right now. And one of the main reasons that we don't experience that same level of stress that other jurisdictions do are because of the efforts that Tom has made. It comes from his passion for his job and for people in general. I don't even know all that Tom has done. This was apparent recently when I received word of a complaint that the Ann Arbor Public School Board had received from a parent regarding the fact that the police were in this person's school. So I was asked about it by those that I report to, and I assumed it was Tom's unit, although I didn't know for sure. So I asked him for a summary of what they've been doing in the schools. He didn't know his written word was going to be right here, but I'm actually going to read you what Tom wrote to me. So I basically said, what are we doing in the schools right now? Kind of update me. The Community Engagement Unit has been involved in numerous community outreach efforts since its inception in 2013. In 2014, officers Tom Hoy and Doug Martell joined the CEU in order to expand the outreach efforts. In early 2015, in an effort to enhance our outreach in the Ann Arbor public schools, we set aside dedicated time to conduct classroom visits in 14 Ann Arbor public schools. Our goal was to introduce students to uniformed police officers and teach them about our jobs as community helpers. During our school visits, we also assist in all 3 supervised lunch hour periods. This gives us an opportunity to interact with the students and assist the lunch supervisors. We are collaborating with Lawton Elementary School that is using a program for leadership development called The Leader in Me. This is a pilot program. This program equips students with strategies to build confidence and skills to be responsible, creative, and caring people. It is based on Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People book. The school version is titled The 7 Habits of Happy Kids, and is also written by Sean Covey. When we first started visiting Lawton, we committed to weekly visits and work with staff on teaching the curriculum. We built a very strong bond with the Lawton community. We participated in numerous after-hours weekend activities. We have assisted with the annual Lawton Run-a-thon, which is held in the evening, usually in September. I personally assisted in an off-duty capacity to help with the foundation of their community garden, and also assisted in helping prime the school during the summer for a complete school paint makeover. I was assisted by Officer Doug off-duty and my grown children, Tommy and Megan, who also donated their time. Officer Doug was instrumental in providing numerous bicycle safety classes to the students at Lawton in preparation for summer biking. We have been asked by a large number of Ann Arbor Public Schools to visit and participate in various programs and activities. Most of the elementary school visits involve a discussion of our role as community helpers, explanation of our police department, use of the 911 simulator, reading books, and assisting with activities at the work centers. Beginning in the middle school and continuing into high school, the topics vary. Some include social media, bullying, police brutality, race relations, leadership, police careers, safety issues, drug laws, driving laws, date rape, alcohol issues, autism, and texting, sexting topics. Since 2013, I've been the police coordinator for our annual Sgt Tom program, in which 700 to 800 kindergarten-age children attend every summer. In addition, for 2 years in a row, we held a Sgt Tom program for children with cochlear implants in cooperation with Mott Hospital. We are active participants in the Thurton School Bike Rodeo. Officer Doug is a regular at the Ann Arbor Preschool for the Books and Badges program. I, along with my wife and daughter, volunteered to assist at the annual Scarlet Middle School silent auction last year, and will be assisting again this upcoming March. We have participated in Lunch with a Cop to assist with school fundraising efforts. Parents can bid to have their child join us with their child at lunch and visit the classroom. This has been well received. I am providing a list of Ann Arbor Public Schools that we have been invited to and have maintained a respectful and professional relationship with 2013. I'm going to skip over the list, but it's extensive. The Ann Arbor Police Department Community Engagement Unit prides itself on maintaining a positive and interactive relationship with the children in Ann Arbor. We are also aware of the nationwide negativity directed towards police officers, some justified, some not. Our concern is that some children are in fear of the police based on parent and family comments. What is more concerning is that if these children are in trouble and are in need of police assistance, they will not know where to turn. It is a fact that a parent cannot always be in the presence of their children and will have to rely on complete strangers, police officers, or general public, to be their backup in a time of need. It is imperative that we work together for the safety and well-being of our children. Although I wasn't aware of the extent of his efforts in the schools, nothing in the memo surprised me in the least. His level of dedication, it's always astounded me. And it wasn't just me. We went to lunch the other day. We walked 3 blocks, okay? 3 blocks. And we got approached by 11 different people that Tom introduced to the chief of police. His reach has been enormous. Internally, Tom is very well respected as well. He recognizes that law enforcement's in a very difficult position. In the PD, he recognizes that officers are safer the better the community relationship is. He was actually chosen by his peers in 2015 to be the Command Officer of the Year. We're currently planning a 2-year 2015-2016 award ceremony. He's not going to be around for that. For those who aren't aware, he's leaving the state to be closer to his own kids. So I'm actually going to present his award now. This is the write-up from the awards committee. Command Officer of the Year, Sgt Tom Hickey. Sgt Tom Hickey, why don't you come on up here? Okay. Sgt Tom Hickey has made customer service and professionalism a priority through his police career. Sgt Hickey worked for the FBI, Wayne State Police Department, and Pittsfield Township Police Department prior to starting as a patrol officer for AAPD in 1992. For the past 3 years, Sgt Hickey has led the department's community engagement effort. Some examples of Sgt Hickey's commitment to community involvement include the Graffiti Removal Project, Coffee with a Cop, the Citizens Police and Fire Academy, Safety Town, and the Adopt a Family program. Sgt Hickey has been a vital asset to the CERT program and his assistance with the Emergency Management Division. Sgt Hickey is known for his enthusiasm and passion that he puts into his daily work. People who work directly under Sgt Hickey say that his dedication to the community is undeniable and his character is beyond reproach. So I would like to present Sgt Hickey with the award for Command Officer of the Year 2015. So that's so I'm going to give you this. So it's a done
Thank you.
deal. Why don't you go and sit down for a minute? I think so. That's fine. So I'll wrap up. I just want to personally thank Tom on behalf of the entire Ann Arbor community and on behalf of the police department. We often say that any one of us can walk out of this building and somebody's going to fill in. Somebody's going to be there the very next day to take your spot. That's true of almost all of us. However, I have some doubt. Dawn's got some pretty big shoes to fill. However, just to kind of reiterate Tom's dedication to the community and to this role, he gave her a very specific set of instructions when he leaves. He says, your goal is to make everybody forget my name. And it's a tall order, but I think it just goes to show the level of dedication that he's always had. So I'd like to thank you, Tom, for everything. Thanks. Okay, so now I will open up the floor to anybody that would like to say a few words. There's a couple that I'm aware of. Jack, do you want to come up first?
Sure.
All right. Who's going to take the pictures, though?
I'll take them.
That's rough.
That's like a threat. Or else. Let's see if I can keep it focused.
I am.
You're not supposed to start getting upset.
I'm a citizen, and actually I've worked a lot with him, primarily getting stuff off the top shelf. But, he has done a lot, already mentioned CERTS and the Academy particularly. And the Blue Line, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Sit down, Tom.
All right, Tom, it's my turn.
Oh.
I knew this day was coming. And we started talking about this a year ago. I started to rehearse what I would say today. And in my truck on the way home, on my way into work, to walk to the structure, I'm telling you, I had a speech prepared with quotes from Abraham Lincoln, and all kinds of stuff that is so appropriate to what you've done. But I will tell you, as I stand here today and I see this, I just want to say thanks. Not only to you, but to Kelly, to Megan and Tommy, who can be here. We're stronger because of you. And that is something that no one can ever take away. And I'm grateful for it. I'm not done yet. Now the hard part's over. Tom and I had the pleasure of being together for 3 years in community engagement. And Jeff Spicker, Tom and I, we had a rhythm. We were doing presentations all over the city on topics that are difficult for people to hear and understand. They're very emotional. And when we would go into these groups, the civic organizations, the church, the schools, the hospitals, the businesses, once we got past the introduction of what we were there for, I could sense that the crowd needed some icebreaker. They needed to kind of take a step back. So I would do a little biography of the staff that I brought. I always start off with Spicker. For those of you that know Jeff, he's our MacGyver. And for those of you who know exactly what I'm saying, he's the guy that can take a paper clip, a 9-volt battery, and a pen, and somehow develop these devices into a signal up to a satellite that will bounce a signal back, that will open the dam, and will save forests. He's that kind of guy for us. And every time I would present that to the group, you could feel the crowd warming up a little bit. And then I would get to top. Chief Grant already mentioned this unbelievable connection he would have and has with his community dating back generations. Tom was the mayor. And every time I would introduce Tom as the mayor of Ann Arbor in his police role, without even having a chance to describe why I thought he was, I would get, amen, hallelujah. I would get people from this group that I've never met before that know Tom. And they know Tom from when they were children in dare, in 4th or 5th grade, that were now adults, that were raising their children, and still had this connection. And when I would take Tom anywhere we would go, just like with Chief Baird, we could never have a conversation, we could never have a meeting without complete strangers coming up and saying, "It is so good to see you. It's been all these years. Thank you for everything you've done." And in time, I began to feel the sense of pride that Tom had, knowing that that was part of his contribution to this community. Well beyond the crime enforcement efforts, well beyond that, but the connection he has had with generations of people, he quickly became the mayor. And between Jeff and the mayor, we had a synergy and a rhythm that we were just nailing it. And I will always be proud of that legacy, as frustrating as it was, to know that you had that connection. That's something that's not represented in a title or ribbons on a chest. It's not represented in a paycheck. It's that commitment, and I admire that. So my family and I, from my family to yours, we sat at our kitchen table on Sunday, and we built the shadow box. And I just want to say that every time you put those stripes on, you represent the ranch. And I'm proud to work with you. And I'm glad you're doing this.
I'm trying to declutter at home.
Anyone else? Feel free.
As you see the way I'm dressed, I didn't plan to come up and speak. My name's Jeff Gaynor, and I was elected in November to the Ann Arbor School Board. And you'd have every right to think that I would come here to honor Tom for all his work, and well-deserved. Never crossed my mind. The reason I'm here was back in the early 90s. I was an elementary teacher at Ball Open, and Tom came to my classroom and did his magic. And we'd run into each other every few years around town, and he'd smile, and he'd go, "Jeff, how are you? It's good to see you. I can't remember my own kids' names, what I did yesterday." And, it's magic. And that's why I came here. I came here just simply to stop by and shake your hand. I wasn't even thinking ceremony. I wasn't even thinking all that. But you meant enough to me over the years to take time to do that. So thank you. And also thank you. All of the students you've worked with and all of the teachers you've helped out.
Anyone else?
I want to say one thing, Tom, you always made me feel special. Now I come here, find out you make everyone feel special.
Thanks, Doug.
I've had the distinct pleasure of working with Tom for the past year in the community engagement unit, and I have to say it's been just that. It's awesome working. I hardly had to do anything. He runs such a outstanding unit with Doug and Tom, and when Jessica was in there, like clockwork. So impressive. But what I wanted to say today is, by thinking back my memories of Tom, and I started back in 2002. And at that time, Tom was the training officer. And I remember it was up in the second floor dispatch. He had a little office, and there was a plaque on his wall. And it said, make sure I get this right. It said, "People may forget what you say to them, but they'll never forget how you made them feel." And I think Tom lived by those words. And we all know what impact he had on the community. We all know what a great cop he is. But I think what's important is what a great human being Tom is. And the impact he's had on all of us. been to a number of retirements, and I think this is the fullest I've seen this room. That's a credit to Tom and the contribution to this agency and the kind of man that he is. So thank you.
Washing on Dairy Donuts just to make sure we filled up. Wasn't all me.
Anyone else?
Maneuver around here so people can both see and hear me. I'm Joe Summers, and I worked for 43 years at the Environmental Protection Agency as a chemical engineer before retiring recently. And I've only known Tom for the past 2 or 3 years through the Citizens Police and Fire Academy. And in that, I learned literally, and at my age, you should know more, but I learned 95% of what I know about the police force from that academy. But more importantly afterwards, or at least more importantly to me afterwards, was whenever I would see Tom, and there would be lots of times downtown Ann Arbor on the streets, he would always remember me by name. And the fact that you would do that indicates that you've done that for many, many people, far beyond me. So I just want to say thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I met Tom 2 years ago, and Tom's all about building bridges between the community and the police force. He inspired me so much to help the city clean up. Every time I would make some dorky stencil, I would email him a picture, and he would send me an email right back, and he'd be like, "Great job, it's people like you that make this movie great." And I ate it up, and he just inspired me so much. Some of you don't know this, but he gave $500 of his own money out of his own pocket to help with the graffiti intervention. More than that, Tom is somebody that gets his hands dirty. He painted, he picked up trash. There was nothing that he wasn't willing to do to help out the community, but probably the thing that struck me the most was the way he treated the offenders that we worked with, people that had violated society's rules. They had hurt people, they had caused a lot of damage and destruction, but the one young man, some of you have seen his work around town, SAS, he treated him like his own son. He was up on a ladder, and Tom just had his hand behind his back, just always thinking about his safety, and never shamed him. Just very positive and encouraging, and the guys that we worked with that had drove drunk and things, he took his time to say, "You guys, we all make mistakes. This is great what you're doing. You're making a difference," and it wasn't corny. It was really from the heart, and these guys really felt a part of, and it took somebody like Tom to live that message. So I'm forever grateful. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Jeff Ford, and you've heard a lot of different things from the community that Tom's engaged with the schools, some of the citizens and stuff like that. But what I want to speak about is one of his subordinates. I worked for Tom for a few years. Tom has always been supportive to the officers that work for him. If you were doing well, every now and again, he'd spend money and get you a gift card, $5 to go out to Panera Bread, have something like that. One of the biggest things that Tom did was on a midnight shift, he went out of his own pocket and ordered in a steak dinner for all of us. We didn't eat off of plastic, we didn't eat off of paper. Tom brought in china, silverware, crystal. I mean, he treated us like royalty, all for doing our jobs. So what I want to say is, I really appreciate that, Tom. That's something that will be a thought in my mind forever. I always remember you that. And the 2 words that I would say about you, Tom, you're a class act.
Yeah.
actually, the shift, we had some serious armed robbery going on, and the shift, that was kind of like, if you catch these guys, we'll eat well.
Hello, everyone. If you don't know who I am, I'm Doug Martell. I've been blessed to work with Tom for the last 2.5 years or so in the community engagement unit, and I've been here for 22 years. So our paths have crossed as our careers have moved on over the years. I thought when I first learned that he was going to retire, and that he was going to have a coffee hour, that we made the Hill Auditorium for it, and we're pretty close, so we're doing pretty well. As this part of Tom's life journey comes to a close, obviously when doors close, other ones open. And my hope for you, Tom, is that as this new chapter of your life opens up, that you enjoy it the way you richly deserve to. After what you've given of yourself very humbly over the years that you've been with this city, to the community and to the police department. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And
Don, I did Sgt Tom right after Tom Hickey. Tom Hickey always taught me something that's really important. Give out stickers to little kids. I just wanted to say I'm a Saline resident. Tom lives in Saline. Another thing he does, of the million things he does, he gives out haircuts to veterans in Saline. So anybody who serves in Saline, Bill, the barber there, always says, thank Officer Hickey. So I just wanted to say that of all the things he does, Tom, you mean a lot to me. You know that. I just wanted to be here for your last day, my friend.
We both have brown hair.
Anyone else?
Anyone else? I didn't say anything.
All right, well, we've all heard about Tom's many, many fine attributes, so now I want to share a few things from the dark side. No, I'm kidding. Okay. No, somebody asked me a while back, they said, how would you summarize Tom and his character, his personality, and so forth? And I said, honestly, for those of you who remember the Andy Griffith Show, it would probably be Andy Griffith, because no matter the stupid things that Barney would do, he always stood behind him, and often would give him credit for arrests that weren't really his, and so forth and so on. Was certainly a credit to the community, and when the shit hit the fan, Andy would be there. He'd take care of business. He wasn't going to pull any punches. So, like it or not, that's what I associate with. It's been, I've said this many times, but I started my career in police work in a small town, which you had to be a good COP officer. You wouldn't make it very long. And I consider it a real blessing from the Lord that I'm able to finish it out that way. So you've been everything I would think.
I've had the pleasure of knowing Sergeant Hickey since we were in the West Side District Office. I had just started my career here. I think I had been here less than 6 months. Still trying to make sense of everything that the department had to offer. And so when I first got in there, He wasn't there quite yet, but I had been told, hey, this job is kind of what you make of it. I had no idea what to make of it, and then he showed up, and we developed a purpose together, and we reached out, and I'd bounce ideas off of him, and he was very receptive. It wasn't commander subordinate. It was a group effort, and I thought we did some really good work out in the West Side District Office. Then I went into animal control, and we kind of parted ways. But we'd run across each other, and he'd always ask how I was doing. It's amazing how when you first start this job, you're walk into it thinking it's a job, and it's really more about family. And I think he has embodied that to me over the years. And even when he became our supervisor, as a sergeant, again, it was open door policy. Even when it was boss, me boss, you worker, it was never that. It was never really that with us. Matter of fact, we had a problem. I said, I had an office. I said, close the door and put your bite suit on. we got to have a talk. But it's that relationship that I felt I could have with him, that we could have an honest, open discussion without, it just being a boss-employee thing. So over the years, Tom, I can't express in words what this relationship has been for me. So thank you very much.
Gotta be out in about 18 minutes.
So, exactly. No recording devices. For those who don't know me, I'm Lieutenant Ed Greslinski. Tom and I pretty much started together years ago, and we spent a lot of time together. Actually, probably spent more nights with Tom than anyone but his wife and his kids, like sleeping in the same room together. We spent 2.5 years going to classes together, and what I really wanted to say, Tom, is I came up here as I'm proud of you, and you've done it right. It's evidenced by everybody that set everything up here. So you've done it right. Thank you. Thank you.
We're going to talk about the pictures.
Those are just between us.
Hi there, I'm Nathan Yost, part of the Community Emergency Response Team, Washtenaw County, and Tom's been our very excellent police liaison, and so we have a lot of the CERT people here. They're all standing through the crowd. You can see them here as a testament to the amount of respect we have for you, sir. So we've got a little something for your retirement and your next chapter in life, and we hope that you enjoy the great outdoors.
I just want to be super brief. Usually I get 3 minutes and I'm facing that way, right, Kurt? So I just represent the people of the community, just a regular guy. Got a lot of downtown customers, and we love to see the police officers walking around downtown. I know all my downtown business owners would love to see more beat cops down there, and I've been trying to get the Maynard substation open forever. But it still works, and you guys do a great job. I was on the roof across from credit union yesterday. I don't know what went on there, but something happened, and you were there fast. So I thought, that is awesome. I mean, fast. And I work in the trades, and I build something, and sometimes I think I got to take some pride in my work, and I always do, and I think, that's going to be there long after I'm gone. And my son didn't want to ride his bike, when he was a kid. And kids don't want to learn from their parents. And so we sent him off to Safety Town. He came home riding that bike like nobody's business, and he was so proud that he'd done it himself, And so I think they're going to tear down anything I could build in this town, but they're never going to take away the things that you've given to family and generations that's going to last long after these buildings are gone. So I appreciate it, and I know everybody else does too, so thank you.
My name is Muhammad Ahmad. I'm a resident of Ann Arbor for over 30 years. Did my graduate school over here at Michigan. And I have been pretty much like in touch with the police department for over 15 or so years, going back to 9/11. In the current capacity, I'm serving as the chairman of the board of trustees of the Muslim Community Association of Ann Arbor and vicinity. Our relationship with the police department went back to post 9/11 when Chief Oates was over here. I can recall names of police officers. Go back when my son was at Arbor White. Officer George Patak was the DARE officer over there. And then Mark Sandamore. And now we are open communications with the current chief as well as with the administration over here of this town. It's really a great town to be in, but also there are some other issues that we need to improve on. The one thing that the community lacks is really the community policing. This is interactions between the police and the community, where you come to know each other as human beings, not as a person with authority, and the other one is looking at you as, why this kind of interactions is going a little bit sometimes tense. I have known Sgt Hickey just for the past, I would say, 3-4 months now. When I started the CERT in January, and he was so open that, this new person, it's like open up as if you had known him for a long, long time. And then now through the academy. Through him, I came to know quite a bit of people who are serving over here in this police force. Susan, Jamie, Officer Joyce Warner, who I had the honor to ride along with. It's just amazing number of people. And I think if we have these interactions, that would be really great. The other thing I would like to say is last Friday, there was a police officer who came to control the traffic after the first Friday prayer. I don't know who that person is. If you're here, please identify yourself. If not, please thank him on our behalf, because this is really a great thing to see. There was no obligations on part of that police officer to stop over there and help people come in and out of that. This is a really great gesture. And now we are opening also communications with Sergeant Murphy, and hopefully this will be great interactions and positive interactions. Sergeant Hickey, I wish you the best in your retirement, and wish the best for the police force. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well. So, my name's Officer Jamie Atkins, for those of you guys that don't know me. Most of you do. So, Tom and I have worked together a lot over the years. And Dawn, I gotta say, I feel your pain. I followed him up in DARE. And all I heard from the lady teachers was, "Where's Officer Hickey? Oh, that Officer Hickey." I'm getting ready to go on early maternity leave, and they want to know if Officer Hickey can come back and take his place. So I was like the roadie to his rock star, like so many times. So the one thing I do have to say, taxi cab drivers never said that about you. He had my job for a while too. He's done lots of jobs over here. So after DARE, we spent quite a bit of time together in training. First working together, and then you supervising me, and then me supervising you. I delegated my fine skill of delegating up on Tom, so thank you for being a great student on that. But in all sincerity, we've had a great time together. We had a couple little things going on for a few years when Ryan Maines was still here. When you first met Tom back in the day, he'd say he went to U of M. I went to U of M, University of Madonna. So he was always a big U of M fan. So every year when the U of M game versus MSU would roll around, there had to be a little kind of give and take going back and forth. And Ryan Maines and I kind of, might have had a few hijinks here and there. Actually, one of the first ones was, the green MSU stickers on the back of the Class A hat that you didn't find for a couple months. And may have worn out in public, maybe not. Let me see, I think Maine signed you up for an MSU alumni newsletter that you got for about a year or so before you figured out how to cancel it. There was a gray and white shred in your desk drawers. And probably the piece de resistance, which you'll see here in a minute, was the 2 very large bags of packing peanuts, green packing peanuts in your cubicle. So we had a lot of fun. And then you left and decided to go to the road, whatever. And, but then you joined us at Maine Stadium, and we had a lot of fun. And so here's Tom, and those of you guys that work Maine Stadium, I don't know if Robin's in here, Robin Lee. But, so kind of the 3 of us, mainly out there controlling the intersection. Tom's doing what he's doing. We're yelling at him to get out of the way. He's passing out stickers. Getting stickers out now. But what you don't see after the game, when we've all kind of had our fill of the drunks and lots of people at Maine Stadium, is his kind of nice demeanor. Have you guys ever seen that SNL skit where the party in the plane, bye-bye, bye-bye now, bye-bye? That's him. I almost showed it, by the way. So, I have to say, thank you. We've shared a lot of times together. You've ingratiated me with your family, Tommy, Megan, Kelly, your family. You've been really, really good to my girls. And all the times with adopted family, holy crap. Going to kind of sketchy neighborhoods out of our jurisdiction, delivering Christmas gifts, and hoping to make it to the kids, which they usually do. So, thank you. Thank you for my friendship. Because, words say some things, but pictures say so much more. So I do have to say, before I start this next little presentation, that this kind of gives a nod to Tom's heritage, Irish heritage, which he's so proud of, the McGrady, right, mom's side of the family. So there's a few of us that kind of worked pulling some things together, and this was the end product. If I can get this going. It's gonna go. It will go. Had it working earlier. Spicker, I might need you. Pull out that paper clip. There we go. Oops.
If you want, I can get up there and give you a hand.
No, really, that's okay. I'm on it.
Like old times.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Wait. Hold on. Sorry, folks. Where's the volume? Hold on. No, we got that volume with this. It was working earlier, damn it. Hold on. Yeah. Hey, Jamie, you've got something. Why fix this? Come on up, Jamie Crawford. Yeah, come on up, Jamie Crawford. Why fix this? Okay, really, I didn't know it was good. Oh, yeah.
This is it, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, this is on behalf of a large group of people who exactly, I'm not sure, but plenty of us who appreciated and loved working with you over the years in various capacities. So something to remember your years about.
Thank you. So you open.
up on the screen. Okay, so Tom, why don't you get up here, and is there anybody else that'd like to talk for Tom? And we're gonna get this fixed and we'll play it when everybody is everything. Chief?
It sounds like Jamie, you're doing it anyway.
Right.
I think it's your turn, Tom.
Welcome to my world. I've been going on for 25 years. Okay to stand here. Right. So, I guess first and foremost, let me start with, as you have heard, my Tommy and Megan, Tommy's in Colorado, Megan's in Montana. We'll be about 8 hours away from us. We're moving in a couple weeks to Colorado. My wife, Kelly, some of you know. And a young man, Eli, that she's watching over. I have been very, for a lot of you, you probably had no idea I even had a wife. I'm very protective of my family. When I'm in this job, I'm in this job. At 401, I'm not in this job. I'm in my role at home there. But could not do, especially for the young folks, absolutely could not do this for as long as I have without the great support from Kelly. So just to give you a quick background, so when we first met, she was actually a student athlete at Wayne State, and I was Wayne State cop. And then within not too long after that, actually, so I'd been in the FBI 4 years, Wayne State for 2 years, and after Wayne State, I thought, you know what, this police work is too stressful, and actually left police work and became a restaurant manager. After about a year of that, I said, this is way too stressful. And actually got back into police work at Pittsfield Township. And then joined the Ann Arbor Police. So she's probably thinking like 4 or 5 years, 4 or 5 jobs, I'm gonna have a lifetime of switching things. This department has saved me because in 25 years, and I have probably the version of ADD or something, I want to learn and I want to try new things. And this department has been a blessing for that because I have done, other than probably DB, I've done a lot of things here. And I think it has kept me focused that after a couple of years, a posting comes up like, oh, I haven't done that. And so have been very lucky. I should, before I stop, I need to get one guy up here because stickers, if you can. So 25 years ago, this young man, Jeff Spickard, as we came on board together from Pittsfield Township. And what I did know is that you're going to be the one, I guess. You better go.
I didn't come up here.
Okay, go.
Just saying.
Yeah, man, you're it. You can go stand over there. I'm going to start crying right here. So 25 years ago, we were up here getting sworn in. Actually, he was my FTO at Pittsfield. Could have washed me out, probably, but so what I didn't know at the time is for the next 2 years is that after we got out of FTO, we were partners. And I've had, at Wayne State, I had one of the best partners, Barry Bean, Ken Bean. And then with my career here in Ann Arbor, Spickard has been the absolute best partner. In our 2 years here, and I was reviewing some of the awards, we're kind of synonymous that we had a lot of fun together and did a lot of crime solving and good things. But my passion, and he knew, and actually I think he was very much into the tactical. I was very much into the education, and I did do all the dare and all that. But, he is, as Matt alluded to, man, he is the absolute smartest guy that I know, can fix anything. And we definitely had some great times together and with the family. So I'm going to get started first off with, and a lot of the folks are right here. They always say that the patrol is the backbone of everything, and yes, to a certain point. But there's a lot of moving parts, and Chief alluded to it that years ago, when we had 220 some officers, whatever the number, we had all these different programs and people did all these things. And then when the numbers get cut, as a lot of these folks know, we still have to do a lot of these jobs. And so our the PSSs and the PPAs, and I'm going to name, and the reason is when you're up here, like I'm looking at this, like, she looks really familiar. Oh, that's my wife. Like all of a sudden, you lose things. So I had to have some cheat sheets, not like you just started and I'm new here. But I didn't want to forget anyone. Susan, Jamie, above Chris, Brooke, Jennifer, Renee Wagner. I don't know if she's here. She is like, for some of you folks, if you go back or seen reruns of MASH, like the Radar O'Reilly, like you go, hey Renee, I need. Oh, here it is. Like, man, when I left patrol and came up to the community engagement, I came up to the third floor, which was a lot of the PSSs and also the detective bureau. So I was kind of in between, but definitely Renee was my go-to. Amy Jones, Carrie up in the office there, who made the cake, did all this stuff together. I know that. Down on our second floor, Darlene, Elaine, Margie, Jocelyn, and Amy Cervantes, who gave me some love yesterday before she left. She's driving to Kentucky, and good souls there. I want to make something perfectly clear. In spending the last couple weeks with Sergeant Murphy, my replacement, I've heard a lot of comments about, boy, you have big shoes to fill. And I'm going to say this publicly, that these shoes are my shoes to fill. They are not her shoes to fill. She has her own. As I told her, and I'll tell everyone, what was important to me may or may not be important to her. And so I would say judge and work with Sergeant Murphy like I wasn't here. And so we have worked and built a relationship, and that's ours. You can't put that on her. I can't remember who was up here who said that. Lieutenant Sherba. Maya Angelou. Basically, people won't remember what you tell them, and they'll never forget the way you made them feel. That is my mantra. I have, I was raised by two loving parents. I have, with 7 kids in my family, and that was, that is my paying it forward to you folks in the community here. One of the things that I saw, is Schneider up here? A lot of the programs, if not, maybe you could track them down. A lot of the programs that I'm involved in and doing community outreach. So for the 1 year, it was me, and then I was so fortunate to get Tom and Doug. Now, this would be like having the best of both worlds. And keep in mind, we're not young men here. But you wouldn't know it with these two because when they came into the unit, is their energy was beyond anything that I expected. And some of the programs that these two started that are brand new, and some actually the A2 Shield that were somewhat programmed years ago, and then Tom embraced them. And I know a lot of you were on the receiving end of the phone call. Hey, I need you for the CTN. And like, people free, but he was very persistent on that. We've been very fortunate that, so 2 years ago, Chief Cito at the time allowed us to have Corey Mills join us for the summertime, and was, boy, another just hit the ground running. We were so thankful to have him. Did a lot of camp activities. And then last year, we're in a dilemma because we wanted to get another seasonal officer. And Corey was, I think, in AATA. Jason Gold was, after chasing a bank robbery suspect, had blown out his knees. And we were really in a dilemma. This was kind of in the 12th hour. We needed somebody. And so all these names came up, and one name came up, Jessica Oliverio. Now, you might as well say the Michelin Man or something, because I know the name, I knew the name, had no idea about this officer, level of officer. And honest to God, the reason that she was chosen is basically everybody in the room said, well, we don't know a lot about her, but we haven't heard anything bad about her. And that was kind of, I'm not kidding, that was like, okay. Now, what we didn't know, or what we were also working on, is they just did shift bid. She's a parent and trying to juggle all these things, family and this, and had already set her schedule, and then she gets a phone call. Hey, we want you to switch your life around for us. And she did. And so another one, you talk about what an absolute blessing of a person. We had some FaceTime initially, kind of told her what my expectations are. And she hit the ground running, and she did more engagement and helped us with Safety Town, and started this connection with the different all the malls, the public or the safety programs. And there are some times that I think Tom and Doug were hiding in their cubicle, like she's wearing us out, you know. And it's like her energy's like that bunny. But this is a true story. At the end of the summer, when she went back to the road, we had to give her back to the road. The next day, on that Monday afterwards, is we're sitting around in the cubicle, and like we're sulking, and we're looking at each other like what is going on? Like, what's missing? And all of a sudden, Tom says, "It's Jessica." It's like, we feel like we're her parents and we sent her off to college. and absolutely true. Like, she was the energy that put us all together. Talk about Spicker, Ronowitz, the bub. We actually go way back to Wayne State days. At a certain point, I almost thought this was like probably stalking. We were at Wayne State, and then I went to Pittsfield, and he went to Pittsfield, and I came here, and I'm like, oh boy. So, no, a good soul, and has been whatever. Some of you know the whatever, okay? One of the downsides of me moving on is we are, the unit is going to be picking up Brett Paddock for the summer. And that guy he's been doing community engagement for years, and we'll be happy to get him on the shift here. I don't know if Rob has shown up, but if he does, send him up. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to talk about him, and most of you know who Rob Schneider is. For the past 3 years, or when I started the community engagement unit, Chief Cito at the time, and I'm so thankful that he opened up this position, and then ended up with Tom and Doug. But what was more important is basically he said, hey, we want to do community engagement, but like this is what I have no expectations. It's kind of a blank slate. This is what's but I would, you know how to do this stuff, run with it. And so I did. And so we did a lot of outreach with, again, as you know, the kids and senior citizens are my passion. So we did a lot of outreach with the senior centers. One of the things that was going on at the time was graffiti that was driving me crazy. Worked with the juvenile probation, the kids that were actually doing the graffiti, arrested for it, spent Sundays with me cleaning it up. But this isn't the Tom Hickey show. There's no way, and I really appreciate all the kind words that were said, there's no way that I can do this by myself. And so when you're thinking about all that, whether it's the downtown development, Ed Wheeler from Republic Parking, Will Hobson bringing their hot water power spray to help me do all these things. We even had, so besides the DDA, you have the Anderson Paint, all these different businesses that are helping beautify the city and helping me. Judge Falvo, that we've kind of morphed from the juveniles to helping out at the mental health court. And again, that was Miss Jessica connecting with and helping with Tom Coy, with Judge Falvo, who runs the Veterans Court and Mental Health Court, saying, hey, we have these folks, and a lot of them are homeless, that owe money, and how can we work this out? And so we worked out a great thing, and actually we had our last on Sunday with Miss Rebecca helping. She did the work, I'm supervising. I'm very artistic. So it really, we're helping. We're helping these folks that feel a sense of worth. We're letting them offset their costs for the courts, and we're beautifying the city. So it's really a win-win. The reason I wanted Schneider up here is because a lot of the programs that I connected with, and the big one was Turner Senior Resource Center, Safety Town, some of these others, it is our own officer, Rob Schneider, had a contact dealing with a mental health consumer. And he, and if you don't know Rob, he is the teddy bear. He is just, he gives 100% all the time. And he did his normal thing, not out of the norm for him. It is he did the right thing. He did the right thing for this mental health consumer. What he didn't know is that this young man, his family were doctors, the Hammersleys, and a lot of them were in Ohio. And as a result of the actions that Schneider took, is the Hammersley Foundation sent the Ann Arbor Police Department $10,000 to help with mental health training and some other things. So this sat for 2 years. And so when I came on board and we're talking, I'm trying to find funding, they said, hey, we have $10,000. Now it's earmarked mostly for the mental health training. Now we have already been doing this. Long story short, is I called Dr. Hammersley. I said, this is what I'm hoping to do, is we want to put your money to use, but I have all these other plans. We want to help seniors on safe driving. We worked with Project Outreach Team. We gave them, I think, $5,000 so the folks could basically come in and they could help keep the streets of Ann Arbor clean, get money for it to try and hopefully, we knew there might be a balance of drug stuff, but hopefully to get into use for housing. And so the streets are clean, the money's being used, and when I was done, I wrote a report of all the money went to Safety Town, a lot of driving programs, and the Hammersley Foundation sent the Washtenaw County, the Project Outreach Team, another $5,000 just for all their hard work. All those things, that wasn't me. That was Rob Schneider doing what he does, getting the money, and allowing me to spend it. And it felt good. I have to put a June Her on spot here. There are a couple people in this department that, you talk about me and doing all these things, is a lot of the programs and a lot of interaction I have, I'm at the mercy of a lot of people. And poor June Her's been at the receiving end of a lot of my needs. And so, and he's probably a step below with Spickard with all his things he can do here. the Detective Bureau. I can't thank you enough for embracing me when I came up to the third floor. You know, you definitely opened arms to that. It was really, we have connected. One of the things, and I'm going to put it on my guys because I was not, I was not in me to do that. Excuse me. Is that when Tom and Doug, so normally when you come off the road patrol and you go into a specialized unit, there's a lot of us and them. If you're not doing this, you're not one of us. These guys broke the ice. Tom had spent some time in the DB, and these guys broke the ice. And the connection we have now, and I have Craig Martin and Fox and Matt Lige, they constantly are thanking me for all the work that these guys are doing to bridge the gap. And Doug, with the road patrol and the homeless camps and different things, these guys are like the shining stars. So you know, hey, Hickey's doing all this. Is like, this isn't, this, you know, I get the accolades, but they're doing the work, and I really want to put that out there. A couple other people I want to mention. I don't know if they're, I don't know, Brett Hansen. You know, here's one of our detectives now. But one of the things that has always stood out is that, especially with community engagement, is we're dealing with homeless. We're in Martin Hills having coffee and cake when Sergeant Murphy's first day with me. And so, you know, we have everything in between. And, you know, I try to recruit Brett to our unit. He has such a connection with folks that have nothing. And it's really easy in law enforcement to deal with folks that, you know, maybe be giving us so many calls on them and a headache for us. And sometimes we're more abrasive. And you have guys like Brett Hansen that are going above on their game to make our life easier, and I really appreciate that. Scott Stoner, I don't think he's here. He retired recently, probably in Vegas. Liam, another guy that in his, like he's in his 26th year here, and he is still helping others. And the last one was a veteran who fought with one of our strongest guys besides me, Chris Woolley, and tasing and all this. But he looked through the person, and as a result, has really done a lot of outreach. And Tom and Doug have been working with him also. He's actually come in and talked to the hostage negotiation team, the SWAT team, dealing with veterans that have post-traumatic stress disorder. I don't know if Cicely Lawson's here. Real quick, like, I don't know if you know her. I told her, like, I could not, after I talked to her, I had to take a week away because my face hurt and my stomach hurt for her stories, and she has 2 high school daughters, and I wanted her to videotape some of the conversation. She grew up in Detroit, and so I'll definitely miss that. I see some of our Andy Box and some of the folks from the fire department. I tell you what, a lot of our programs, Safety Town, Citizens Police Academy, a lot of these things that we're doing, again, it's not our show. We have a great collaboration with that. So, Jamie in the main stadium. So, the orange, or green orange, the green styrofoam peanuts. So I had a pretty good sized office over the training unit and came in, and I've never seen so many things all over in my desk and everything for the things she put in there. The main and stadium crew, and I know Laura retired also, running the podium, and Jamie and Robin definitely clock making this all work. Really have appreciated his friendship and guidance here. The dairy provided our donuts today. Have been, you know, I guess if you go there for 25 years, you get 6 dozen donuts on your retirement. Not a bad thing. A couple more. The DDA. I don't think anybody's here from Youth Connect. They touched base on it earlier. We actually go into the juvenile jail and have FaceTime with these young offenders. And, you know, it just kind of hits you because the last day I was there, they had cake, and we're having cake with the different folks. Now, when we started there and had a conversation, and Doug was my counterpart, we always asked the kids, have any of you had any positive interaction with the police? 0, okay? And so we worked on goal setting. We actually got to take about 7 of them up to the Lansing, and we've done some adopt a family type thing. But now when we go in there, yes, it could be BS, but now we have FaceTime, we get hugs. There's a connection. They're looking for some mentoring. As I'm leaving, having a conversation with these young men, just like I'm having a conversation with you or my son, and I leave, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the shooter from your homicide. Like, these are young kids, but don't forget about them, because some of these kids will be getting out, and our goal for that program is maybe their first experience was a bad one, but the second one doesn't have to be. Okay, and that's going to take some doing on our part. Betsy Lindsley, the Housing Commission. I'm going to tell you what. I spent in 2008. I spent 8 months as the operations manager for the Housing Commission. Betsy was having some surgery, and they were getting ready to do some changes. And I went in there like a wide-eyed little cat. And I'm going to tell you, to this day, I have the greatest respect for Betsy and all the staff. Ms. Hall, I think Dave Edmonds is the only one left from the maintenance staff. But I will tell you, these folks do more than anybody will ever imagine. Seidlinger, Ira, I don't know if they're here from the fire department, really appreciate it. Miss Rebecca, boy, the city of Ann Arbor should be so blessed to have her. You've seen her work around the stencils all around the city. There'll be more to follow. The last guy I want to talk about is Mr. Lige. He was my boss for when we started the community engagement unit. And so not only, so he was in charge of records, property, internal affairs. Oh yeah, let's throw Hickey out of here. And so, but I will say, what a great experience. That guy has the energy of many men. He was well respected on the road, well respected up in the DB. I will definitely miss our times in coffee. He was my mentor. He was my counselor. That when you bounce it off. So again, lastly, we're coming up on 27 years of marriage. Woo! Sorry, you can't talk. No, I'm just kidding. But as I said from the beginning, especially for you young officers, like if you don't, you got to take care of family first. And one of the things that and this is my opinion, why I truly believe that I've survived in law enforcement, is as much as I like spending the day with you, when work is done, work is done. And then I have other things to focus on. But when I'm here, you got me. So I do want Dave Monroe on the one last thing, sorry. Well, it's not last, David. Is at two things. As a patrol sergeant, and Dave would get a lot of heat from his overtime hours, but as when we are calling a crisis and we need a detective, I'm going to tell you what, this guy is hands down. He was at our funeral for my mom, and we wanted to adopt him. And so he is really, he's still not talking to me. His boys came in for some presentation, and I just loaded them up with so much stuff. Like, we're trying to declutter at home. I was like, well, you can talk to your wife about that. So that's where I'm going to end. I may have missed some folks here, but I will tell you, it's, like anything, I guess one word to capture things is the word ambassador. Is that, we're expected to be a lot of things to a lot of people. And when and I can tell you, Jamie Crawford, who was leading the charge for hiring new folks. When a person hits this floor to get sworn in by the mayor, it's a big deal. There's a lot of work that has gone into it. We don't take this lightly. We don't take it lightly for the citizens and for our fellow police officers. Is that you put this uniform on, there's some high expectations. And so, you owe it to your peers, our friends from U of M. I'm sorry, Caitlin. Forgot about you. Is that we owe it to ourselves and this community to be the ambassador, to do the things that inside. You know what? This is not how I'm built, and we have to step outside of that, and we have to say, you know what? We are. Here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with, I hope, is that the one time in someone's life that they contact the police department may be you. And you're going to be the decider on how they help others. Because just like in the restaurant business, a happy customer will tell 10 people, and an unhappy customer will tell 100. And no different from us. If you did not live up to your standards as an Ann Arbor police officer, and you stepped over the line, guess what? This person is going to tell a lot of people. Here's what I know, though. I know there are so many different stories of positive things that you do that these folks have no idea about. But it's also that's like, that's not how we're built. We're not, hey, look at me, I'm the. One of the things, if you went into my old office, I didn't pay rent, I got evicted. No, I'm just kidding. Is that I had pictures of all these activities. And if you walked in there, you go, oh wow, there's Hickey's wall of me. And here's what I would say. I did that, and I think that the chief, when we had some folks from the Human Rights Commission that had some issues for what we're doing, he said, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to bring you to Tom's office and sit in this chair and like, oh. So to say, these are all the things, these are the thank yous, and to say that this is what we're doing. So that being said, love you, thank you for all your support, and let's eat cake.
So far, the longest coffee hour we've ever had. So, that's the end of the formal program. Please stick around and say hello to Tom, anybody that hasn't had a chance to do it yet. Thank you. Good job, you.
All right, I tried to get you down as long as I'm like.